A pleasant day to everyone. In this video, safety, health, well-being, and security of employee will be tackled. It is about the ways in which human resource manager can make the workplace environment safety and health. It is ethical and social responsibility of an organization to create and maintain a safety and health workplace. In addition, Occupational Safety and Health Administration or OSHA can impose fines against organizations that have unsafe workplaces. Safety hazard is a condition in which work environment that have potential to cause harm to an employee. Example of this is a set of metal steps that often get wet and might result to an employee's falling down. While health hazard is a characteristic of the work environment that more slowly and systematically and perhaps cumulatively result in damage to an employee's health. Example of this is the toxic fumes, which when an employee is exposed to them on an ongoing basis cause various respiratory problems. These are the top 20 most dangerous U.S. occupations in the year 2016. Common workplace hazard and threats. Guarding. It is a shield or other piece of equipment that keeps body parts from contracting moving machine parts such as gear and conveyor belt. Causes are defective equipment and tools, poor lighting and poor or improper ventilation, improper dress, loose clothing, sharp edge around machinery, and poor housekeeping. A separate set of workplace factors may produce negative health effects that appear more gradually, like chemicals, toxic fumes, and secondary smoke may be a factor. The U.S. Department of Labor has identified 7 major categories of occupational illnesses. First is the occupational skin disease or disorders. Second is the dust disease of the lungs. Third is the respiratory condition due to toxic agents. Fourth is poisoning. Fifth is disorders resulting from physical agents. Sixth is the disorder associated with the repeated trauma. And the last is the other categories of occupational illness. In concern with the Department of Labor, widespread concern about employee safety and health led to a passage in 1970 of the most comprehensive law regarding work safety. This act is technically known as OSHA or Occupational Safety Health Act of 1970. At that time, the OSHA was passed approximately 15,000 work-related deaths occurred in the U.S. every year. OSHA is both the act that authorized the U.S. government to create and various standards regarding occupational safety and health and administrative agency that enforce those standards. OSHA was assigned to the Department of Labor. In concerns with the Department of Labor, the Department of Health was also given the task of sponsoring research to establish the criteria of various tasks and occupation and for training employees to comply with the Act. Most of this work is conducted by the agency within the Department of Health called National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health or NIOSH. It is conduct research to help establish appropriate safety and health criteria.
The
The
physical
physical environment.
environment, the
The
actual
actual
physical
physical
environment in
environment in
which an
which an
employee
employee
works,
works is
is
also
also
extremely
extremely
important
important and
and
obviously can
obviously can
affect
affect
safety,
safety, health,
health,
and
and
well-being.
well-being. In this topic, we will be discussing about the types
Hours of work
of
is a
physical
reasonable
environment
and
that can
sometimes
trigger
flexible work
safety,
hours can
health, and
improve a sense
well-being
of freedom
of the
and control
workers or
over
our
one's work.
employees. First thing is
The
hours of work.
illumination is shown that
40
the
hours
different
per
tasks
week,
require
8
different levels
hours
of
per day,
optimal
or
lighting, and that
8 hours
employees who
per
perceive
5
their work
days.
environment as
This
a
is the
dark are
ideal work hours.
generally less
Less than that,
satisfied with
our
their
employees might
jobs.
actually resign
Temperature
or
is
leave the
extremes of the
company
temperature can
because
affect
it
both
might
attitude and
cause
decision making
lesser
on the job.
salary for our employees.
And
Second,
the
if it
office
is
and
more than
workspace
that,
design is
it might
almost any
actually
type
trigger some
of
safety
background
measures.
music
For
can
example,
improve
sometimes
employees' attitude and performance on
especially
the job.
overworking is
The
bad when
physical
it comes
layout
to
of
our
office
employees.
space and the use of
Fatigues,
divider and cubicles
insert
also have been
something.
found
That is
to
the
influence
examples of
attitude
the diseases
and behavior at work.
that they can get from these hours of works. Next is elimination. It was shown that different tasks requires different levels of optimal lighting, and that employees who perceive their work environments as dark are generally less satisfied with their jobs. Proper lighting in the workplace works a big role when it comes to physical environment. For example, poor lighting might cause poor eyesight for our employees, especially for those who are the work does include the computers or should require a computer, so they are all day long using a computer, so we will be needing the great lighting for that one. And next is temperature. Extreme temperature can affect both attitudes and decision making on the job, of course. Temperature also plays a big role in making our employees productive. First, if it is too hot, our employees might feel uncomfortable working, and sometimes, so they might be uncomfortable. Next thing, if the workplace is too cold, workplace workers might have headaches due to the high temperature, and then especially diseases, especially we do have some diseases that we can get from too much temperature. Sometimes we can have cold or something. And then next is lastly the office and the workspace design. Almost any type of background music can improve employee attitudes and performance on the job. Yes, music can lessen the stress of our employees. It can actually improve the mood. It can actually improve the mood on the workplace or something. Lessen the yeah improve the mood from the workplace. Next, the physical layout of office space and the use of dividers in cubicles also have found to influence attitudes and behavior at work. Cubicles and dividers actually helped our employees to focus on their work, and well, they can be more productive, and it also reduces or avoid transmission of some of diseases. I have mentioned earlier some colds. If one of the employees have cold, then dividers can actually avoid transferring it into other employees.
Stress and stress management at work. Stress is a person's adaptive response to a stimulus that places excessive psychological or physical demands on him or her. To see how such programs can be effective, we must first understand the causes and consequences of stress at work. Causes of stress at work include task demands, physical demands, role demands, and interpersonal demands. Task demands are stressors associated with a specific job a person performs. By nature, some occupations are more stressful than the others. Physical demands relate to the job setting. Many of the physical aspects of the work environment that we discussed earlier, such as working in extreme temperatures, have been associated with stress on the job. Role demands can cause stress resulting from either role ambiguity or role conflict that people experience in groups. Interpersonal demands include group pressures, leadership style, conflicting personalities, and behaviors. There are differences in how one experiences stress. Regardless of the stressors present on any job, different individuals will experience that stress differently. Some individuals respond positively to many types of stress, while others react negatively to any type of stress. So it is important to note some of the factors that influence how one experiences stress. Type A personality is characterized by being highly competitive and highly focused on work with few interests outside of work. Type B personality is characterized as being less aggressive, more patient, and more easygoing. Hardiness is individual differences that allow some individuals to experience less stress when dealing with stressful events, and that makes them more effective in dealing with the stress they do experience. There are consequences of stress at work. Stress can lead to several positive and negative consequences. If the stress is positive, then the result may be more energy, enthusiasm, and motivation. Of more concern, of course, are the negative consequences of stress. Three sets of consequences that can result from stress are individual consequences, organizational consequences, and burnout. Individual consequences are as follow. Behavioral consequences of stress are responses that may harm the person under stress or others. Psychological consequences of stress relate to an individual's mental health and well-being. The medical consequences of stress affect a person's physical well-being. Clearly, any of the individual consequences just discussed can also affect the organization. But other consequences of stress have even more direct consequences for organizations. One clear organizational consequence of too much stress is a decline in performance. For operating workers, such a decline can translate into poor quality work or a drop in productivity. For managers, it can mean faulty decision making or disruptions in working relationships as people become hard to get along with. Another direct organizational consequence of employee stress relates to attitudes. As noted, job satisfaction, morale, and organizational commitment can all suffer along with motivation to perform at high levels. Finally, burnout, another consequence of stress, has clear implications for both employees and organizations. It is a general feeling of exhaustion that develops when an individual simultaneously experiences too much pressure and too few sources of satisfaction. Turnover refers to people leaving their jobs, whether voluntarily or involuntarily. Meanwhile, dysfunctional behavior refers to any behavior at work that is counterproductive. These behaviors may include theft, sabotage, as well as sexual and racial harassment. Wellness programs in organization. Institutional programs for managing stress are undertaken through established organizational mechanisms. On the other hand, collateral stress programs are organizational programs created specifically to help employees deal with stress. In recent years, there has been a lot more attention paid to the problem of bullying. Much of this has focused on bullying in schools, but bullying is an issue in the workplace as well. In general, workplace bullying refers to a persistent pattern of mistreatment from people at work that causes a person some harm. This can include verbal abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, and humiliation. And although most bullying appears to involve someone in authority, it could involve peers or even subordinates. There is no well accepted definition of bullying beyond this general one, so it is often difficult to determine exactly how widespread a problem bullying really is.
The topic is the workplace security. What is the workplace security? It is basically the process to protect an employee from work-related illness and injury, and to make the workplace secure from intruders. Every company should have an environmental, safety, and health policy statement. In other words, a workplace safety plans. Private pension planning to provide employees with some insurance that they will have enough money to live on when they are retirement. It also an alternative to the state pension. Usually individual invest funds into savings scheme or mutual funds running by insurance company. On one of the most used private pension plans is contribution plans. They are made to this account by employee of participants as a part of he or her waves. Next is health insurance. Decided to make sure that an employee can offer the medical service he or she may require. By other words, health insurance policies are carded side as private pay for by individual, publicly provide as a service to social security, or commercially arranged by company as a part of the employee benefits package. Next is the workplace security issues. There are different types of security issues has more silence to the employees or people live in the condo units. For example, in the United States, since September 11 attacks were a series of four condened terrorist attacks by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda against the United States on morning of Tuesday, September 11, 2001. The attacks killed 2,996 people and injured over 6,000 others, and causing of less of $10 billion in infrastructure and property damage of the building. Next is Oklahoma City. The city exploded of Alfred P. Ormond Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City in April 1995. Oklahoma City bombing, and this is a part of tourism in the United States, just the same of September 11 attacks. The explosions killed 168 people in what was determined the worst tourist attacks on U.S. soil. Next is the National Security Agency. NSA refers violate the privacy rights of American citizens thought is a program of wide press of wide toppings. The, that is was a refer that the NSA repeatedly tapping the phone conversations of persons who were suspected of tourist activities. Last is Haiti earthquake. The January 2010 a major of earthquake of struck Haiti, repair occurred of 1 million people died and 250,000 residents were repairs of damage of house or all of buildings, and over 3 million people were affected. They are needed they are needed of security of their place and workplace. But as can you see, they could survive beginning rebuilding and getting back to their normal lives.